It's been a minute since I made a video. I was kind of busy having hand surgery and then getting caught up. But I want to talk about the machine that I use. Machine that I've been using since I came back from my hand surgery, the only machine I've been using. Not too long ago, CA rotary hatchback irons released the pen, otherwise known as the SHARP. The irony is palpable. My friends down in Miami who had prototyped it said very great things about it, and I watched it get used. My wife was tattooed with it, etc. I was excited to get back to tattooing, and when I got back, the machine was waiting for me. So it is all I've used since I've gotten back to it. Now, I was waiting to make a video because I wanted to try using everything that I use and then some when I tattoo, from liners all the way up to the big shaders that I use. So my average tattoo is done with either a loose 5 or an 8 round. Sometimes a little bigger to line with. I do use round shaders, 8 rounds shaders and 14 round shaders. But I also prefer to use 11 mags all the way up to 19 mags. I mean, it's difficult to say what I use most, but that's my array. I wanted to also be able to use 7 mags in singles with this pen, which may sound a little startling to some people, but I'm going to tell you right now, it works. Every one of them. When I first started with the pen, I started out around 7.8 volts and went up to 8 volts, just trying to figure some things out. Right now, I average 8.9 to 9.3 volts when I tattoo. Some people think that that's a lot, but the SHARP runs off of a higher voltage motor. It's not like some of the other rotaries that Hatchback has put out in the past that do run at lower voltages. This one takes full advantage of a heavier motor, and I'm going to tell you right now, it delivers. I am one of those people that takes my cartridges apart and hits the needle head with a lighter to turn it into a real needle, as it was put. This machine becomes a completely different animal when you loosen up a liner. It actually runs like a coil, and I know someone probably out there just said, well, why don't you just use a coil? I can't. My hands aren't just gonna let me do that anymore. So if I can get something that runs like a coil and I don't fatigue as much or at all, I'm gonna take it. I'm back up to 5-hour sessions because of this machine and my hand surgery. I can't stress enough that I did have to have surgery because I have carpal tunnel syndrome. But real quick, if you know me, know anything about me, when the Pearl first came out, I was probably one of the biggest proponents for it. It was amazing. It's still an amazing machine. It has its limitations, but whatever, they're not worth bringing up. There's also the slide. Now this machine I did work with a good bit. My favorite thing that I found it did was it pushed really big mags really well, and they healed beautifully, and it was just a pleasure to work with. After that came out, this direct drive rotary, so much fun to tattoo with. Of all the rotaries, this one felt the most like a coil, mainly because this weighs a ton compared to other rotaries that I use. But it was a lot of fun to work with. You could change the stroke length from 1.5 millimeter to 5 millimeters, and it just was thumpy and just pushed anything you threw at it, and it stippled and whip shaded and did all the cool stuff that I missed. Right up until this. Right. There, that was presentable. This is probably the machine that I will end up working with for the rest of my career. I'm not saying that because of my friendship or whatever with Hatchback or CA. I'm saying that because of all the machines I've worked with, all the rotaries I've worked with, and that's more than 1 or 2, all the different brands I've worked with. This one does everything I need it to do. It has not let me down. It comes with 2 rechargeable batteries, and I'm not saying you have to plug it in. The battery actually is removable and rechargeable. So while you're working, you can have another one charging. I have put 9 hours of work on one of these machines, on one of these batteries rather, and when I got done at the end of the day, it still said 27% on it. And that was running at between 8.5 and 9 volts. So you're not going to be let down with the power supply in here. And to be honest, If you can kill a battery in one of these, you're a better man than me. Or woman, whatever. My whole take on this is simple. Even if you don't like rotaries, I don't care. Hatchback has plenty of coil options. But every machine that I've ever gotten from Emerson, top to bottom, coil to rotary, has been an absolute pleasure to work with, and it's benefited my tattooing in some way, shape, or form. Now, with the coils, the modularity, and the reason I say modularity is because it's that adjustable, and it makes me think of something modular. It makes life easier. It takes stress off of things, whatever. But everybody in my shop who's ever used a hatchback machine, especially one of my personal hatchback machines, has ended up buying one. Everyone that's used a hatchback rotary or CA rotary has ended up buying one. This, I highly recommend you get a hold of. If you work with somebody that has one, try it. Just do one tattoo with it. If you say that needles are too tight in cartridges, you can take them apart and loosen them up, so that excuse goes out the window. I'm not just saying this because I know the guy that owns the company. I'm saying this because it actually works. Your tattoos will heal faster. Pigment goes in way smoother, way more efficiently. Your clients will say it hurts less. I'm not kidding. Not. My wife said that when she was getting her back worked on by a friend of ours down in Miami. He was using it, and she said that it didn't hurt as much. This guy. For my wife to say that it didn't hurt as much, she's been tattooed a lot more than most people have. And she speaks very highly of this machine. So when I got a hold of it, I started asking my clients, they all said the same thing. It doesn't hurt as much, and apparently I hurt. Whatever. Anyway, if you have any questions about this one, just like anything I've done in the past, shoot me a message. Other than that, the Sharp Hatchback Iron CA Rotary, get one. See ya. Oh, call your mom.